Tiny EVs have been making waves in recent years as a healthy portion of commuters and motor mounters find themselves wanting to slim down their bulky rides. IEV Motors, an electric vehicle company from Denmark, has taken it upon itself to help save the environment and space with a couple of slim, morphing machines. Recently, they have unveiled the IEV Z, a new and improved version of their IEV X that was released in 2018. Like the previous model, the new and hotness from IEV Motors is a slim personal vehicle that can robotically extend its cab to seat a passenger with extra space for storage. The Z model reimagines the chassis with a carbon steel design and the body with carbon fiber. It's strapped with a 1 kilowatt battery that offers a range of around 60 miles. And depending on local regulations, you may even be able to ride the Z in biking lanes, allowing you to circumnavigate your commute with ease. Suppose you're interested in a simple A to B vehicle for your daily commute or just want to play around with. In that case, IEV Motors has plans to sell them later this year for around $6,600. Established in Toronto, Canada in the early 2000s, Daymak has proven itself a pioneer where light electric vehicles, or LEVs, are concerned. With over 100,000 vehicles sold, Daymak is looking to up the ante with their new LEV called Spiritus, which is shaping up to be the world's fastest three-wheeler. However, being quicker than quick isn't all the accolades that this aerodynamic LEV claims. The company has stated that it can mine for cryptocurrencies while parked. The Spiritus currently has two variants available for pre-order, the Spiritus Deluxe and the Spiritus Ultimate. These are two very different versions at two very different price points. The Deluxe stands as a base model for consumers, with the Ultimate being a complete package with a cost to match. The Deluxe can hit 60 in 5 seconds, which won't win any awards. Still, its top speed of 87 and range of nearly 250 miles make it the ideal commuter. The Ultimate is a little more exciting and can accelerate to 60 in under 2 seconds, with a top speed of 105 miles per hour. And if you were wondering, both versions can mine for cryptocurrency.
To get notified when a new video is posted, hit the bell icon below, right next to the subscribe button. Thank you for watching Mind's Eye Design.
Having absolutely nothing to do with paddling a boat, the Canoo all-electric pickup truck is built with the tradesman in mind. It has powered workbenches, tool storage, and a modular expandable bed for carrying materials. Oh yeah, and it doesn't burn fossil fuels, which is always a good thing. The goal was to make a modular and adaptable vehicle, providing maximum interior space while also supporting a wide range of equipment useful for either work or play. The Canoo will come out in both a rear engine option producing 600 horsepower and 745 Newton-meters of torque, or a mental-sounding dual engine option, one powering each of the axles. The adjustable truck bed gains 30 inches of extra length when extended, making it perfect for carrying timber, pipes, or just a whole bunch of camping gear. An optional rooftop tent also doubles as a solar panel for charging up on the go. We start with a company that holds true to traditional maritime craftsmanship while embracing the new era of smart design and sustainable materials. X-Shore isn't looking to reinvent what works, but they certainly see value in changing things. The design of the Eelex 8000 immediately reflects those sentiments. The ship's design was inspired by classic motorboats while dialing it up a bit and fitting the modern echelon. A commendable cruising speed of 25 knots with a top speed of 35 knots ensures fun and efficiency. And that fun will take you up to 100 plus nautical miles before you need a recharge. Thankfully, you can do so in less than 2.5 hours. That's because this vessel is powered by a 225 kilowatt motor that has a 120 kilowatt-hour battery capacity. A 24-inch touchscreen located at the helm gives access to a suite of controls over the vessel, because the Eelex 8000 is designed around the captain. Perhaps most appealing about this boat is that you can choose from over 15 layouts to suit your needs perfectly. From fishing to socializing, the Eelex 8000 is a solid choice for your nautical needs. Next up on the docket isn't a vehicle per se, but an attachment for a different vehicle. The Seattle startup going by CyberCatamaran, or CyberCat for short, has designed two products for the highly criticized yet immensely anticipated Cybertruck from Tesla. The CyberCat is a set of components revolving around two inflatable pontoons that fit inside the bed of the Cybertruck, making it a self-contained amphibious EV for the future. The company even claims that installing the configuration would take less time than launching a boat. Once installed, the truck is meant to drive into the shallow waters. Upon reaching the deeper end, the pontoons and upward of 5 electric outboard motors will fold downward thanks to actuator jacks. The CyberCat offers a top speed of 22 knots when equipped with a max of 5 motors, and a max range of 100 nautical miles at 5 knots. If you are hoping for a bit more speed, the CyberCat foiler adds a hydrofoil to the mix, elevating the truck out of the water, significantly reducing drag. Thanks to this, the CyberCat foiler offers max speeds upwards of 33 knots, but doesn't adjust the max range in any way. Comprised of a team of MIT-trained ex-Boeing engineers, Regent's one mission is to severely reduce the cost and difficulty of regional transportation between coastal cities. Regent manufactures all-electric, passenger-carrying wing-and-ground effect vehicles, called Seagliders, as their means to service coastal routes with modern technology. It operates just a few meters off the water's surface and masterfully combines the high speed of an airplane with the cheaper operating costs of a boat. And in terms of performance, the Seaglider has a range of 180 miles with a speed of 180 miles per hour. They say that next-gen batteries will service rides up to 500 miles. You can traverse a sizable body of water with that range, and you can do so guilt-free knowing that the trip is emission-free. And thankfully, when you do need to make a stop, the Seaglider was designed with existing dock infrastructure in mind. The real-world concept of the eVTOL was first introduced to the world in 2009 by NASA, when they released a render of a single-person eVTOL, although the idea of such crafts has been present in sci-fi for a long time. However, it wasn't until 2011 when actual efforts by the industry began to take place, chasing the dream of the Jetsons. While large companies such as Boeing, Airbus, and Bell have been taking the helm on these projects, the smaller startups have been the backbone of the eVTOL movement, such as Ryse Aerotech, which has seized the current realities of the now possible crafts to bring handy tools to their customers. They do so with their upcoming design, the Ryse Recon. While taking cruise rides is certainly within the capabilities of the Ryse Recon, it is being designed for a more noble purpose specifically. That is, to take rural users from one destination to another. Perhaps the most significant thing about eVTOLs is that they don't need to worry about the sort of barriers that helicopters or planes need to. They don't need a runway, and they require much smaller landing and takeoff points. Because of this, they will be beneficial for surveying landscapes, transporting supplies to people in traditionally difficult areas to reach, and saving lives by getting and transporting individuals in need. The projected specs for the Recon are looking pretty good too, with a weight of around 300 pounds, a max range of about 25 miles, and a max speed capping at 63 miles per hour. It will be powered by 6 independent propulsion systems, which will, in turn, be powered by their own individual removable battery packs, so you can swap them out on the fly, possibly providing more fly time. The company says their baby is specifically designed to be easily mass-produced, cheap to keep running, and clean. So easy to fly that anyone can pilot it. While prices are not available yet for those interested, Ryse has stated that they have a functional prototype and will be releasing more detailed specs closer to their planned launch next year. As always, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. Are you as excited about the future of eVTOLs as we are? Take just a minute of your time to leave a comment below, letting us know your thoughts. And stick around for our honorable mentions right after this. The ALIA 250 by Beta Technologies is an electric vertical takeoff and landing eVTOL aircraft that is being developed to transport patients and transplant organs quickly between hospitals. Getting design inspiration from the Arctic tern, the longest migrating bird in the world, the ALIA features a twin-tail assembly, angled trusses, dramatically arched wings, and tapered wingtips. For lift and propulsion, the ALIA 250 is fitted with 4 vertical lift propellers and 1 push propeller. Each of these rotors is turned by 2 motors, giving redundancy in case of emergency. While the battery specs and range haven't been formally finalized, the ALIA 250 has been rumored to be packed full of lithium-ion packs developed in-house. The operating range is heavily dependent on how much cargo is being carried. However, Beta have indicated that they are aiming for 250 miles or 400 kilometers on a single charge. If you enjoyed this video, you could help us out by hitting the like button, subscribe, and keep up to date on future posts. Da Vinci was perhaps one of the most influential minds in our history, and the name inspires ingenuity. It's undoubtedly influenced Da Vinci Tech, a dynamics technology company that is focused on one single thing: fun. Da Vinci Tech is the proud owner and designer of 2 unique electric motorcycles, the DC Classic and the DC 100. The DC Classic, as you may have guessed, was the first bike built by Da Vinci Tech, and with simplicity in mind. This boxy pavement pusher doesn't have too many doodads bloating its feature list, only quality materials and more than adequate metrics. The DC 100 is not so traditional as the Classic. It is, at its essence, a dynamic robot. Aside from a flashy chassis, the DC 100 also has kinetic energy recovery, hill assistance, traction control, and the whole range. I think we're long overdue in showcasing an electric car on this list. This one is brought to us by Vanderhall, a name you may be familiar with. This innovative company has been creating groundbreaking advancements since H.T. Hall invented the first synthetic diamond press. The slim aerodynamic frame of the Brawley is sitting on a complete set of 35-inch tires for domination on the road or off. Inside the sealed cabin is heat and AC with an interior made from high-quality materials. When it comes to performance, the Brawley's 404 horsepower dominates, with a range of 200+ miles on a single charge. However, I doubt you'll get nearly that much juice outside paved roads. Even so, less than an hour of idle time is all it takes to charge the battery back up to 80%. So, does it matter? Venturi is a French company that does many things that all center around two words: electric mobility. After surviving bankruptcy in the 90s, Venturi shifted gears toward electric power, and it now thrives like never before. It's not all race cars and aircraft in the electric world. There are problems everywhere that need solving, and that's where stuff like Antarctica comes in. This big old angular box on treads may not be as big as the continent it's named after, but it handles the frigid corners of our world as well as any other. Antarctica is a bright piece of equipment designed for research stations. It can carry up to 6 researchers with their equipment, and with a second battery, has a range of 31 miles. Are the utility innovations of interest to you, or do you prefer to see some toys? Let us know in the comments. From Airspeeder's perspective, racing has pushed the motor car ever forward, and they take that mentality to the skies. Their ultimate goal is to build the highest performance flying car on the market. Introducing the world's first racing series for manned flying electric cars, the EXA series. This is a 3-model series planned to release by the end of 2021. The Mark III has seating and controls for a single pilot, but during its inaugural flight, it was flown remotely. That's the beauty of the EXA series, remote-controlled flights for a worry-free trip on the public's end. The Mark III has a 0 to 62 acceleration of 2.8 seconds, and the Mark IV has a top speed of 100 miles per hour. These are powerful machines, and if you are a fan of Formula One, you will more than likely be a big fan of the EXA series. The Freestyle series of cars are pretty damn cool. Picture the love child of a Ferrari and a Tesla, but designed to go crazy fast on slippery dirt roads. Sound fun? BAM is an early-stage startup company that looks to forge the efficiency and lower environmental impact of electric vehicle technology into a high-performance frame built solely for the weekend warrior. The UTV design brief was based on mini off-road truck racing in mod carts, where they circle around a track NASCAR style and hit mini dirt jumps similar to motocross racing. The DNA of this insane form of competitive driving has been carried over to the Freestyle UTVs, built to go quick on a loose track. There are currently 3 performance packages available according to their 0 to 60 mile/hour sprint times. The R101 at 6 seconds, the S102 at 5.5 seconds, and the fastest, the E103, at sub 5 seconds.
In the middle of 2020, the development of the first Skypak prototype was started by Ascend Dynamics founder Daniel Gant. It never successfully flew, but he upgraded the motors and flight control computer in the second iteration later that year, giving it enough oomph to take off before the end of the year. Over the next year, Gant would upgrade each successive iteration with more rotors and improved yaw control, until eventually creating the full-scale V1 prototype. That brings us to the present day, in which Ascend Dynamics is ready to share the V1 with the world. So what is the V1 Skypak electric jetpack exactly? This prototype is quite simple as is. An aluminium frame with shoulder straps is meant to be worn as a backpack, while the 12 rotors on either side of the 3 arms provides lift. Each rotor is powered by its own 7 kilowatt motor for peak power output of around 112 horsepower. All in all, the Skypak weighs around 80 pounds by itself. Right now, it's not being manned, and instead is using a test dummy with a wooden support frame that ups the weight to around 170 pounds. The whole thing is powered by a 50-volt lithium polymer battery pack, giving it a flight time of around 2 minutes. That may not sound too impressive, but that's only where the project is now. Ascend Dynamics has plans to take it further and is currently raising money through PayPal and Patreon donations to develop the next iteration. The plans for this next advancement involves larger props inside the prop shield for protection, increasing the weight to around 100 pounds, and supporting a pilot of approximately 200 pounds for the first manned flight. If the manned flights go well, fingers crossed, Gant says he will try to go commercial with the Skypak 1. It'll feature a carbon fiber frame, improved motors, supports for pilots up to 300 pounds, and flight times upward of 30 minutes. The uses for such a machine are endless, but specifically in law enforcement, firefighting, military, and engineering fields such as bridge inspections. It's a long road to get there, but Gant seems determined to make it a reality. As always, thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this video. Do you think they'll see their goals to completion? Do you think this sort of tech has a place in society? Head on down to the comments and let us know what you think of Ascend Dynamics project.
Last, but certainly not least, we take a look at a company that genuinely shines in the pursuit of alternative transportation, and more accurately, electric aviation. Volocopter is a company that pursues electric flight. They started with ideas and a dream in 2011, then eventually honed that into a vessel worthy of a permit for manned flight in 2016. Shortly after, in 2017, they managed to fly their creation unmanned over Dubai. Then everything started to accelerate in 2019 when they unveiled the first Voloport and were temporarily integrated into air traffic at Helsinki International Airport. 2021 is the year when Volocopter commits to providing an air taxi service in Singapore, with commercial flights expected in Paris and Singapore in the next 2 to 3 years. It's the Volo Connect that will helm those flights and is intended to be an extension of the Volocity, an urban air taxi service. The Volo Connect is a fixed-wing aircraft that works with 2 propulsion fans and 6 electrical motors and rotors. The results of Volocopter's efforts are a machine that can transport up to 4 passengers efficiently on routes up to 62 miles, at a max speed of 155 miles per hour and a travel speed of 112 miles per hour. The brain behind this feat is the Volo IQ, which supplies complete digital visibility of the complex urban air mobility ecosystem in real time. The Volo IQ is also used in the other innovations that Volocopter has developed, such as the Voloport mentioned earlier, which acts as a port connecting the airways and our world on the ground, and the Volo Drone, an unmanned drone meant to carry payloads and packages. The Volo Connect is peacefully quiet and connects the suburbs with the cities with ease never before seen. And it is for that reason it has made our #1 spot. So, fully electric, unmanned flying taxi services are becoming a reality. What are your thoughts on what's to come? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Hovercraft are not a new invention. They've been around for over 7 decades at this point. They are simple. Blow air hard to float above many surfaces, including water. In practice, they are a bit more complex, and there's a reason why you've never heard of a luxury sports hovercraft until Vonmercier's crack at the concept. Indeed, the company proclaims that their carbon fiber framed Arosa is the world's first of its kind, with a patented design to push it to that next level. Ordinarily, a hovercraft uses large fans and can only be stopped quickly by flipping a 180 or flicking the machine off and deflating the skirt. With the Arosa, Vonmercier has developed a directional control system that takes advantage of thrust-vectored side fans. Long story short, this luxury hovercraft has a much finer lateral control than the average floating transport and can take yaw turns with some brake support. And while a ride with the Arosa only lasts 90 minutes at max, the 60-mile-per-hour top speed makes for an enjoyable trip, albeit short. Although it isn't a very long runtime, it still can reach ranges of up to 45 miles on a single charge. And while they can't be registered for road travel, and nearly every state will perceive it as a boat legally, the Arosa was designed to be used by yacht goers when they want to play on the beach. Because of this, the Arosa has a hefty price tag, sitting at around $100,000. It only goes up from there, with all of the customizations that can be put on to those flashy floaters. Did you see anything that struck you? Would you like to see more innovative vehicles? Head to the comments and let us know what you think. We'd love to hear your feedback.
What we now widely call cars have gone through a long and storied history. It was around 140 years ago in 1886 when Carl Benz patented the Benz Patent Motor Wagon, the first car. Cars became widely popular in the 20th century and quickly defined the American lifestyle. The invention deeply impacted businesses, city plans, and society in America. And for the last 100 or so years, that has still remained the case. From the time when Route 66 was paved to the dawn of the era of alternative fuel, automobiles have been a pillar in that evolution. But what about the future? Will cars follow us there, or will we move beyond what they can offer? Like us, automobiles must adapt and evolve into something just a bit more exciting. That's precisely the sort of transition that Renault is trying to showcase with their latest rendition of a classic they call the AIR4. – 2021 marked the 60th anniversary of a Renault classic, the Renault 4L. According to Renault, this model sold over 8 million units in over 100 countries for 30 years. Even today, you can still see the old classic rolling around in Europe. Combining what could be with what was, the AIR4 holds a stark contrast in its design. No longer constrained to the roadways, the new rendition seeks the sky. Combining what could be with what was, the AIR4 holds a stark contrast in its design. No longer constrained to the roadways, the new rendition seeks the sky. With an old-school 4L chassis and an X-frame with 4 dual-blade propellers at each corner, the AIR4 strikes a desirable look. Those propellers are powered by 22,000 mAh battery packs, with a total capacity of 90,000 mAh. Lacking wheels and a door, a pilot would simply climb atop the rig and through the back of the hinged shell. Once airborne, the AIR4 tilts forward 45 degrees or more and has a top horizontal flying speed of around 58 miles per hour. However, its takeoff speed is 31 miles per hour. Although we don't know how long this car bird can stay in flight or how the pilot operates one of these, Renault says that a maximum altitude reaches about 2,300 feet. Since this is only a showpiece and we may never see traditional production, it is a unique take on the eVTOL. We could see something like this from other companies. If you wanted to get a look at the AIR4 yourself, in person, it has retired to the Atelier Renault store in Paris for the rest of the year. Next year, it will take a flight out to Miami and New York, and then later it will go through China.
First up is a Barcelona-based company that strives ever forward with perfection, purity, and quality in mind. Baltasar is a company with a straightforward goal to make the best electric track car. And they've made a great attempt. Sleek, elegant, simple. 3 words that may come to mind when your eyes first capture the Revolt. The design is immediately striking, and with a hearty palette of colors to choose from, it only gets sweeter. While the Revolt is perfectly street legal and you could flaunt your ride in the city, it was intended to be used on the track. So is the Revolt a track thrasher? Well, the 2-motor system delivers a total of 500 brake horsepower and 1,000 Newton-meters of torque. That, combined with the 1,700-pound weight, makes for a speedy 0 to 60 acceleration of 2.5 seconds. Where does the power come from? The Revolt houses a 700-volt battery pack that makes up over half of the weight of this supercar. If driving in the city, the Revolt has an estimated range of 373 miles. This is quite impressive indeed when you consider that you can charge the battery for another 62 miles in just 5 minutes. The carbon fiber steering wheel is removable, and the full carbon fiber racing seats offer a Formula One-style driving position. You can pick your jaw off the floor now. Sure to be the fastest vehicle on our list, the Aussie Invader 5R was designed by nutcases down under to do 2 things: break the sound barrier and hit at least 1,000 miles an hour. It's pretty much a missile on wheels, a huge liquid bipropellant rocket engine capable of producing 62,000 pounds of thrust and a mind-bending 200,000 horsepower. When topped to the brim with fuel, the Invader 5R weighs a heavy 9 tons, and the fuel load is sufficient to boost it up to 1,000 miles an hour from a stop-start in 20 seconds flat. To date, there have been no successful vehicles that have cracked the magic grand mark that is a land speed in excess of 1,000 miles an hour. The man behind the mayhem, Roscoe McGlashan, already holds the Australian speed record of 498.7 miles per hour. He is confident he can double his efforts and beat the current standing record by at least 240 miles an hour. That's a speed of 763 miles an hour, set 23 years ago in the USA. Up next, we have yet another update for you, coming from the teams at Kittyhawk. This company has decades worth of experience in anything and everything flying. They take the history of their craft seriously. The Heaviside is a single-passenger eVTOL that was first introduced to the world in 2019. It has since been the 4th eVTOL to receive airworthiness approval from the U.S. military. That is due in no small part to the safety and efficiency these electric flying machines offer, especially the Heaviside. Kittyhawk even claims their baby, the Heaviside, uses half the energy per mile of a Tesla Model S at higher speeds, topping out at about 180 miles per hour. With a range of 100 miles on a single charge, this smooth ride looks very efficient and pleasant, with claims of it being 100 times quieter than a helicopter. Electric vehicles have sunk their fangs into many in recent years, drawing in more and more who wish to share the joy of such vehicles. Canoo has also fallen ill with EV fever, with a few projects being developed simultaneously using their modular platform. Their first release will be an electric van design that utilizes the company's skateboard platform by Lifestyle Vehicle. Sporting an 80 kilowatt-hour battery, the Lifestyle Vehicle sees clocked speeds of up to 125 miles per hour, with a range of 250 miles. It also seats 5 to 7, making it perfect for families, public transport, or just adventuring with friends. If you want one of these for yourself, you can submit a pre-order for $100, with the release being priced as low as $35,000. If you're interested in that, then you may be interested in the other projects Canoo has up its sleeve, like the Multi-Purpose Delivery Vehicle, or MPDV for short. This delivery transport uses the same modular platform for all of its models. Still, this one is specifically designed to efficiently carry and deliver up to 450 cubic feet of cargo. Or perhaps you'd be interested in seeing their aesthetically striking take on the electric pickup truck that they simply named Pickup. Having an 8-foot bed with the extension, a payload capacity of 1,800 pounds, and with a targeted horsepower above 500, the Pickup aims to be a proper electric alternative. After having over 18 million viewers during their first Extreme E-Electric off-road race, it is clear that electric racing is popular. With that success comes a want for more, so let's round out this stuffed satchel of science and satisfaction with a little taste of the beach. The E1 series is a collaborative effort between a handful of companies that seek to take the racing philosophy to the open seas. The Racebird is just one way they are treading new waters. This sleek water bullet is designed with hydrofoil technology to lift it out of the water 16 inches to reduce drag. While plenty of boats can outdo the Racebird's top speed of 58 miles per hour, this is a solid start in tackling clean energy boating. The first race using these daredevil attractors is set with a 2023 date, so mark your calendars. Arcimoto was built as a response to the global warming crisis we face in an attempt to rethink everything we do. They hope to play a small part in the road to a sustainable transportation system and ultimately a sustainable world through their efforts. That's what the D1 is designed for, more or less. This three-wheeled pod does not have a driver, but a human pilot that operates the vehicle remotely, thanks to a collaboration with the autonomous driving startup Faction Technology. With speeds exceeding 70 miles per hour and a range of more than 100 miles on a single charge, the D1 stands a good chance to change the way we get deliveries in some cities soon. The company believes that commercial service charges shouldn't be higher than around $2 per mile. Right now, the expected weight capacity for this human-piloted cargo carrier is around 500 pounds. Anything from groceries to medical applications is in the cards for Arcimoto. Do you fancy the look of the D1 and want one for yourself? Well, the D1 is actually based on the FUV, or Fun Utility Vehicle, from the same company, Arcimoto. Like the D1, this fully electric personal vehicle runs off 2 motors and hits the same speeds and ranges. You can pick one up for yourself starting at $18,000 on their website. Gaussin is open about their craft and that they are driving on unpaved paths. Instead of bending to the traditional mindsets, they tackle each problem with a viewpoint like they're clean autonomous machines. You'll never be caught guessing when talking about Gaussin. With that perspective, Gaussin has created a sort of skateboard for trucks. These are platforms designed for Class 8 tractors and straight trucks from 18 feet to 44 feet. If the truck is looking to haul along some goods a very long distance, then there is a 100% hydrogen option with a range of roughly 500 miles. A refill on one of these is less than 20 minutes, if you can believe that. However, if the truck in question isn't looking to go quite so far, there is the 100% electric option as well, with a shorter range of 186 miles. This isn't Gaussin's first foray into the autonomous electric world either. The EAB is one such vehicle, although it shuttles people, not goods. Like many others, Alpha Motor Corporation pursues a cleaner future by tackling electric vehicles. They have a robust lineup in the wings still under development, with everything from a coupe to an off-roader being produced. They started the Saga series with simply the Saga. The Saga is a rough-and-tumble, retro-esque electric vehicle that seeks to spice up the future with a little past pizzazz. With a range of over 300 miles, the Saga could get you and 4 of your friends nearly anywhere, and in many styles to boot. The Saga Estate is a luxury wagon version of the Saga, more or less, with a longer and heavier body with a hatchback that offers 35 cubic feet of storage. And if you need more room for a kayak or surfboard, it comes equipped with a roof rack as well. The interior is built for comfort, with premium materials comprising most of the composition and a central console touchscreen. There are 2 motors, one up front and one in the back for all-wheel drive, and an 85 kilowatt-hour battery. It accelerates to 60 in a sluggish 6.3 seconds, so if you want a much quicker EV, maybe the Super Saga is of more interest. The Super Saga is a speedster-friendlier model in the Saga lineup and can accelerate to 60 in 4.6 seconds with the same motor configuration. It does this by slimming the body down, eliminating your storage space in favor of speed and efficiency. Designed by orthopedic surgeon Dr. Seth Newbart and engineer Logan Banning, the Dolagon UTV is made from a modified Polaris Ranger. The Dolagon UTV was made for those lesser-known ski slopes, where the people are sparse, but so are the ski lifts. The notion behind this alternative is that you take the UTV up to the top of your slope, and it makes its way back down to meet you after cruising through some snow, utilizing pre-planned routes. This UTV can seat up to 6 people and comes equipped with a GPS module, a LiDAR sensor, and snow tracks. If you're the type who enjoys a ride in big machines, the Dolagon UTV can also be driven manually, if you're so inclined. Right now, these big snow crawlers are limited to companies like private agencies to be used with at least one experienced guide. Still, this innovation may see much broader applications. We live in this big old 3D world, yet we have chained ourselves to the 2D primarily by roads. That's what Opener says anyway, and they have a pretty good idea to utilize the power of flight. Not just any garden variety flight though. We're talking electrically powered flight, clean flight. That's where the Blackfly comes in, and it has quite a bit of new info since the last time we covered this one. This easy-to-use and safe eVTOL from Opener is one of the many strides we see in e-vehicles being used for public transportation. This isn't just a change in the way we travel, but a difference in the infrastructure. The Blackfly has been put through the ringer with flight tests, with thousands of flights and hundreds of thousands of propulsion endurance tests. And, as you would hope, there's a whole litany of safety measures with anything from redundant motors to a ballistic parachute system to ensure your safe reacquaintance with the Earth. We're currently in the process of transferring to alternative power sources, but that means some smaller steps are sometimes necessary to arrive there. As is, electric drivetrains are limited by heavy batteries, and hydrogen alternatives are still a ways off until they start making mainstream splashes. The result is several companies vying for carbon-electric hybrids to drastically increase performance and range, and the Czech-based company called Zuri counts themselves among them. Zuri is working on a vertical takeoff and lift, or VTOL vehicle they claim will hit almost 450-mile ranges. As far as the design goes, it takes after classic inspirations and can seat 3 to 4 people. It utilizes battery packs to tackle the work of most of the VTOL namesake, and only really uses a combustion motor for driving the vehicle during flights. And while still a ways away from a commercial release, Zuri has been working diligently to meet its project obligations. Do you think hybrid is the way to reach a clean future, or do you think it is a step in the wrong direction? Head to the comments and let us know what you think. The global cry for alternative energy has many looking to whatever means they can find to help out. Sometimes that means looking at sources many thought too outrageous. That's the case with Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus, or SCG, as they look to strap a huge storage box on the back of a dune strider called Boot to race running off of liquid hydrogen. If that sounds insane, that's because it is, for many reasons. The biggest hurdle for the company is the acquisition of liquid hydrogen, it seems, and they still haven't found a proper storage solution yet, let alone the infrastructure needed to support this endeavor. That's because in the US, there are only about 4 locations across the nation that can even test at cryogenic hydrogen temperatures. So why did they even want to do it in the first place? Well, for a few reasons, one of which is that liquid hydrogen is much more energy dense than gasoline by a factor of 3. The biggest reason we suspect is to see if they can, to push the boundaries and do what has never been done before. The team behind the Boot has a goal to race it at the 2022 Baja 1000, and we hope that they can get there too, because we're very interested in the results. With the help of their ultra-fast battery technology, Nawa Technologies look to develop highly efficient energy transition. They look to minimize the impact they have on the environment in every aspect of what they do. They took their battery technology and used it to design the Nawa Racer, which exceeds expectations exponentially. With the Nawa Racer, they combined a 9 kWh lithium battery with a 0.1 kWh ultra capacitor. The results are an astounding range of 180 miles. This is possible because while the ultra capacitor does not store much energy, it recharges and discharges much more efficiently than traditional lithium batteries. Nawa claims that battery-powered EVs are limited in their regenerative braking abilities by the speed at which their batteries can receive a charge. They hope the Nawa Racer is a step towards improving that, and ultimately improving alternative transportation as a whole. And while the ultra capacitor doesn't help outside of the urban setting against wind resistance on long roads, this world-first hybrid battery electric motorcycle packs 10 times more power and 5 times more energy than existing ultra capacitors. Nawa Technologies and its partners are truly seeking the ceiling with a hammer in hand. Today we have bikes, tomorrow we have e-bikes. Tech innovation has defined humanity for a long time now. In today's age, with communication and outreach available to nearly anyone, no matter where they are in the world, we are experiencing a tech craze. GoFly wants to nurture that enthusiasm by creating a friendly competition open to any and all inventors, engineers, designers, and fellow enthusiasts to create the best personal flying vehicle with a prize pool of $1 million. The competitors must follow a small list of requirements with a lot of creativity and design left up to each team. GoFly currently has 855 teams working across 103 countries for a new golden age. Phase 1 saw 10 teams win a chance at that big $1 million prize pool, with only half of those making it past Phase 2. Soon, the winner will be determined in Phase 3 with a 5-way competition battling it out. The final competition includes the Flycart 2 from Trek Aerospace FK2 Incorporated, the Area from Texas A&M Harmony, the Device S1 from Silver Wing Personal Flight, the Airboard 2.0 from Dragonair Aviation, and the Era Avia Bike from Aroxo LV. If you want to hear more about GoFly's aviation event, let us know in the comments, and we can cover the results when they're determined. We're going to kick it all off with the MK5 from Japan's Tetra Aviation. In 2020, they won a sweet $100,000 prize at the GoFly Personal Flight Contest, and they have now unveiled the lightweight 33-roto sensation, the Oshkosh. This sleek white and black quad-winged aircraft has a single seat and is designed for personal transport. 32 of the rotors are on the wings and engage lift and acceleration, with a single pusher in the rear. The aluminum frame and polymer body combined with a 13.5 kilowatt-hour battery adds up to just under 1,100 pounds. That's already too heavy for some pilots, as the MK5 will likely only accommodate a 200-pound rider or lighter. Balancing that fine line, Tetra Aviation is looking at a top cruising speed of 100 miles per hour when the commercial version launches sometime in 2022. And because of the strides that they have taken toward that societally noble goal, Candela produces more than just a single ferry model. Using their hydrofoil technology, they create public transit such as the P30, but they also have a personal speedboat. The Candela C-7 is the world's first all-electric, long-range speedboat. With the hydrofoil system combined with a flight control system that mimics airplanes, the C-7 cruises silently atop the waves. The C-7 boasts a range of 50 nautical miles at 22 knots with a top speed of 30 knots. When you can clip waves like that with 0 emissions per nautical mile, would you ever go back? The inspiration from aviation is apparent, and that is because Candela has experience with fighter jets and airplane designs. And all the controls are easily accessible on the 12-inch touchscreen on the helm. Perhaps one of the more underappreciated features is the retractability of the foils and propulsion unit. The C-7 is designed with trailing, storage, and shallow water operation in mind. The C-7 hosts a digital flight controller that uses ultrasonic sensors, gyros, accelerometers, and a GPS to measure the boat's position, speed, and acceleration. As for the configuration of the deck, you can replace the aft sofa with a sunbed. You will also see a teak deck, 12 courtesy lights controlled through the touchscreen, cruise cover, and a teak table that can be stored under the portside dash compartment. Although they couldn't make the list, we wanted to give an honorable mention to the gang at Jetoptera, a propulsion system, drone, and aerial mobility startup with a clear vision to create a world where aerial maneuverability is commonplace. From their impressive catalog of vehicles, we're keen on the J2000. This remarkable take on the flying car uses the Jetoptera propulsion system with VTOL and hovering to accomplish flight. With a cruise speed of 200 miles an hour and a max range of 200 miles, the J2000 will certainly offer an hour you won't forget. If you want to aim for the stratosphere, you won't quite get there on this, but 15,000 feet of altitude still isn't bad. When the maximum carrying capacity is 1 ton, it isn't so bad at all. What would you get if you combined the acceleration of a superbike with a fast-charging battery system and shoehorned it all into a 400-pound package? The answer? The Felo motorcycle. A 48-horsepower electric motor provides 750 newton-meters of instantly available torque to punch out some serious numbers. The max speed may only be 85 miles per hour, but it's not how fast the Felo ends up, it's how quickly it gets there. It can make the 0 to 60 mile per hour sprint in a blisteringly fast 2.7 seconds. That's as fast as a Nissan GT-R or a Lamborghini Aventador, and faster than the impressive BMW K1300S Superbike. After global warming became a core concern for many, Tesla was the most notable for stepping up to the plate and delivering on what people were asking for. Even now, they remain a core figure in the marketplace, holding 23% of the battery electric market in 2020. So it's no surprise that a few employees from Elon Musk's other venture, SpaceX, would branch out and start their own company. While not in the same wheelhouse, ARC devotes itself to marine vessels instead of space. They know that with electricity, they can make a quieter, easier to maintain boat without air, water, or noise pollution. Introducing you to the ARC 1. The ARC 1 is a sleek-looking vessel with dual tones, a tan deck, and white upholstery. It takes from that classic speedboat style, but brings a more modern spin. This is the company's first project aimed at the luxury market, specifically to be better than any boat in its class, as ARC says. So how does it stack up? Well, information is a bit tight-lipped right now as the company prepares for the release. However, we know that ARC is planning to incorporate a 373 kilowatt motor. That equates to a top speed of around 34 knots, with a battery size of 220 kilowatt hours. They say the battery has 3 times the capacity of a Tesla Model Y and is suitable for voyages of up to 5 hours. In more practical terms, they say that if you were to be in the middle of Lake Tahoe, you could reach any shore with less than 5% of the battery's capacity. To put that into perspective, Lake Tahoe would have more than 10 miles from its furthest shore while at the center. And if you do start to get low on power, a warning will give you a heads up to help you from being stranded. As far as charging goes, it supports levels 1 through 3 electric charging and uses a combined charging system, or CCS Type 1. A question arises on their FAQ of how the ARC 1 is safe, since water and electricity usually spell disaster for those involved. To which they respond, all electrical components are watertight sealed. They also point out that charging docks have been around for a while, so it isn't new for the industry. Up to 12 people can cruise on this craft that measures out to over 7 meters long. But it should be noted that they state the ARC-1 was designed for freshwater, rivers, and lakes. The company states in their FAQ that you can take the ARC-1 out on seawater. Still, it will require more maintenance and cleaning, and you should avoid the large ocean waves if you value your safety. Even though it runs on electricity and eliminates nearly all emissions and noise, it still creates a healthy wake for wakeboarders and water skiers, if that's your thing. Right now, ARC is focusing on releasing the ARC-1 as a limited edition luxury cruiser, so they will be few and far between once it releases in the summer of 2022. If you're interested and have a vault of money to spend, the ARC-1 is looking at a price of around $300,000. And just in case you're not a money mogul, then perhaps the mass market version ARC has planned will be more favorable. Although that is still a while away. They are focusing almost entirely on the ARC-1 right now. Thanks for watching, and head on down to the comments to let us know what you think. Are you excited about the future of boating alternatives? Does ARC-1 stack up to your expectations? Do you think electricity is ready to meet the water yet? Your feedback is always appreciated. And stick around for our honorable mentions. If you enjoyed this video, you could help us out by hitting the like button, subscribe, and keep up to date on future posts. Is in the middle of a veritable golden era, an interesting side effect of a worldwide pandemic that's now into its second year. Despite many manufacturers being forced to shut down for at least part of 2020, sales of campers, RVs, and trailers surged to their second best year ever on record, up 4.5% from 2019.